Ashe, greetings, grand rising, a grand day, and peace and goodwill to you all once again, my fellow natural native earthly humans. Yes, you, the earth's organic humans, and soulful humans, you, my fellow humans with soul. The world over, you don't know I am yours truly, I, the mystic philosopher. And many thanks for stopping by and giving up your time to listen to another perspective. Yes, with yours truly, I, the mystic philosopher. Welcome to part 25. And this is the continuation of the great big black and white lie exposed. And if by chance you have not yet watched part 1 through to part 24, and hopefully in that consecutive order, I ask that you please do so before watching this part 25, or that you please do so at your earliest convenience, because I honestly do think and believe that if at all you are seriously interested in getting the facts and the most truthful understanding, and overstanding of what I'm talking about in this series, I highly recommend that you please go back and watch from part 1 and follow through to the end. Now, for those of you who have been following this series thus far, or might have been listening to me speak on this topic elsewhere and over the years, you will have noticed, and no doubt came to the right conclusion, that I, the mystic philosopher, have made it my personal mission to expose this lie, and by extension expose these lies, yes, the great big black and white lie, and to have most of you, if not all of you, my people and others to whom it may concern, come to the knowledge of the proven truth, and to be enlightened to the destructive effects this lie, and by extension these lies, have had and are having on every aspect of our lives. And having come to the knowledge and the proven truth, hopefully you will then begin to redeem yourselves from the curses of being ignorant to this lie, and by extension to be ignorant to these lies. Hopefully you will begin to emancipate yourselves from both the mental, the spiritual, the psychological, and physical slavery that this lie, and by extension these lies, have cast upon you. For your information, my people, as the late Robert Nesta Marley, in one of his songs titled Redemption Song, said, and I quote, "Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery, for none but ourselves can free our minds," unquote. From this we must logically interpret, understand, and overstand, and sensibly agree that no one can save or deliver us. No one is coming to save or to deliver us from whatever situation we are in this reality. No religion or no politician, no God, no Lord, no Allah, no Messiah, no Christ, you name it, no Yahweh, you name it or you name them. The fact is that it is all up to us individually and collectively to save and deliver ourselves. And how do we do that? You might be asking. It is by gaining the right or the required knowledge. It's by becoming enlightened. It's by getting out of darkness, meaning getting out of blackness. Another word for blackness is ignorance, so getting out of ignorance. For as it has been written, hundreds if not thousands of years ago, written and spoken, and I quote, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, and my people are perishing. My people perish, and my people are perishing today." Why? Because of lack of knowledge. And as it is my custom Let me now quickly remind you of my main objectives, meaning the goals that I have, the goals I hope to have achieved by the end of this series, and the messages and facts that I intend to successfully convey to you all, my very patient, my very astute, my very tolerant viewers, listeners, independent and analytical thinkers and truth seekers. And my objectives are at least 9, and they are as follows. Number 1 is to show and prove to you all my highly melanin and highly carbon skin complexion, natural native earthly humans, why we should not and why we must not call ourselves black. Number 2 is to show and prove to you why we should not and why we must not pronounce upon ourselves black or allow others to pronounce upon us the word black. And number 3 is to show and prove to you why we should not and why we must not identify with the word black or answer to the word black or allow others to call, label, list, identify, named, and bestow on us black. As a black people, a black community, a black business, a black nation, a black community, a black race of people, etc., etc. Get rid of black. Number 4, and by the same token, is to show and prove to you why we should not and why we must not call, label, list, identify, name, and bestow on Caucasians and anyone or any other melanin and carbon skin complexion deficient race of people, or if you prefer, any other pale skin, pinkish pale skin, reddish pale skin, or palm skin, whatever, palm people as it is now called, for that matter. We should not bestow on them the word white. In fact, it is also to show and prove to you that by calling, naming, marking, listing, profiling and labeling, etc., etc., the aforementioned people white is to consciously or unconsciously, knowingly or unknowingly, literally, spiritually, psychologically, physically, intellectually, and otherwise profess and confess with your own tongue that they are your superior and that you are their inferior, that they are the light and that you are darkness. You are the darkness. But please stay tuned. I have much, much more to say on that as I continue to expose these lies. And number 5 is to show and prove to you that the English word black, or more correctly, the English word black, is a curse word. It is a word that brings only bad luck, bad omen, subjugation, humiliation, mental and physical enslavement, mistrust, harassment. It brings upon you injustice, hatred, and misfortune, and much, much more upon all those whom it has been called, cast and broadcast, recast and rebroadcast. And number 6 is to show and prove to you that the earth, our Mother Earth, and all her natural inhabitants are under the spell and the curse of black and blackness. And number 7 is to show and prove from the Caucasoid imperialists and colonizers' own dictionaries, namely the English dictionaries, that the people that have called, named, labeled, and listed themselves as white people and are calling, naming, labeling, and listing themselves white are not at all white. It is to show and prove that nothing about them is at all white. In fact, it is also to show and prove that if or when most things, if not all things, are intellectually or intelligently, honestly, seriously, meticulously and sincerely considered, most of them, if not all of them, are black. It is to also show and prove to you that they are the real black ones. Yes, the real and true black people. They just flip the script and change the label. Yes, it's to show and prove to you that they are the real black people. And thus, in accordance to their own English dictionaries, meaning and definition of the word black, coupled with their works, coupled with their deeds, their actions, their present, their past, their history, And their track record, their carnage, their bloodbath, and exploitation, etc., among all the native peoples of this our Mother Earth with whom they have encountered. Most of them, if not all of them, are the ones that should and must be called, labeled, listed, marked, profiled, and named black. I ask that you please stay tuned and pay very close attention to this point as I delve deeper and deeper into this topic and into this series. And it is also to show and prove to you that not all the people that are called black, that they call black, labeled black, listed, not all those that they brag, boast, and call us black, listed, are indeed black. Some are, but we'll be talking about that in a separate topic. Not all. Number 8 is to show and prove to you that this our current existence upon this planet is a game, and one in which we melanin/carbon skin complexion people are being played like pawns on a chessboard. It's a game that is heavily stacked against us. And that in order to change the game, in order for us to change the game in our favor, or to get it a little bit more reasonable and fair, we have to change the name black. And all its synonyms and euphemisms as well. We have to stop calling ourselves black. Number 9 is to help awaken and enlighten you, my fellow highly enriched in melanin, highly enriched carbon skin complexion people, you the Earth's organic humans and natural native earthly humans, to the fact that by allowing yourselves to be called, named, labeled, marked, profiled, listed, etc. as black, and to have the word black pronounced, cast, broadcast, recast, and rebroadcast daily on you is also to voluntarily surrender your dignity. Yes, you are voluntarily surrendering your dignity, your integrity, your self-respect. You are even insulting your own intelligence. And above all, that of your ancestors. Yes, above all is to surrender to the Black spell and its sorcerers and practitioners, but much, much more on these facts as I continue to delve deeper and deeper into this series. So please, again, I ask that you please stay tuned. Now, in today's episode, I will answer the following 2 questions. Number 1, what is a name? And what is a good name? Well, a name by meaning and definition is, number 1, the term, the word, the title, or the appellation, the sound, energy, vibration by which a person, a human, or a thing is called. For those of you that have listened to most, if not all, of my previous episodes, you will no doubt have heard me telling you that your name is who and what you are and who and what you represent. Your name meaning the term, the word, the title, or the appellation, the sound, frequency, vibration by which you are called and summoned, express the essence of who and what you are and what you represent. Now, picture this. Your name is like a capsule. In fact, it is even far more potent than that. Your name is like a bullet or a bomb. It enveloped and represent your character. It envelop and represent your reputation and your fame if you have any. To call a name is to invoke. Listen carefully now. To call a name is to invoke, or if you prefer, to summon the entity, the spirit, that phonic sound or sounds and resonance represent or represents. To be called a wrong name is to be put under the spiritual influence of the spirit or the entity to whom the name belongs. In summary, for now, your name says everything there is to say and know about you. It's say about your past, meaning what you have been, your present, meaning what you currently are and what you are becoming, and your future, what you will become. That is how powerful, how potent and significant your name is. Now, in this reality, we have what is known as duality. According to the Kabbalion, everything is dual in nature. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Thus, you have good and you have bad or evil. You have God and you have the devil, or you have devil. You have man, masculine, and woman, or woman, feminine. You have up, you have down. You have positive, you have negative. You have superior and you have inferior. You have good people and you have what? Bad or evil people. And good people have good names that identify and represent them. And guess what? Bad people have bad names that do what? That also identify and represent them. In other words, bad and evil people have bad and evil names that represent them. You name it, or you name them, and there is duality. And what is a good name? A good name is simply one that is the opposite of a bad name. Meaning, a good name is a term, a word, a title, a sound, frequency, vibration, or an appellation that is the opposite of a bad name, or a bad term, a bad word, a bad title. It is opposite of a bad sound, frequency, vibration, or a bad appellation. And according to the Adamic race history and holy book, aka the Black Caucasians, the imperialists and colonizers, history and holy book, commonly known as the Christian Holy Bible, an ancient philosopher by the name of King Solomon said the following over 3,000 years ago, and I quote, "A good name is more desirable than great riches. To be esteemed is better than silver or gold." That is according to the book called Proverbs 22 and verse 1. Now from this, we can logically affirm, or from this we must logically affirm, and that regardless of how materially rich and wealthy we are, and regardless of how religiously and politically powerful we are, or we may become, if we don't have a good name, and if we have not honestly earned the honor and respect of others, and thus are held in high regards, with great respect and admiration, then we would have toiled for naught. We got naught. Our life would have been vain, empty, and useless. A good name should and a good name must be the greatest aspiration and our greatest accomplishment in life. So I have eulogy, but more on that at another time. From my perspective, only a fool or someone that is under the curse of the Belak spell that would want a bad name, or that would choose a bad name. Only a fool, meaning an idiot, a very stupid individual, a very stupid person, a sheep, a docile person or individual, etc., that would choose a bad name or want to maintain or want to keep hanging on to a bad name. Only a fool. And only fools, meaning idiots, idiotic people, real stupid people, sheep or sheepish people, real docile people, etc., that would choose or want to maintain or want to keep hanging on to a bad name. And I tell you before, black is not a good name. Second, only someone that is under the curse of the Belak spell, meaning someone that is hypnotized by the Belak spell and is under the influence of the Belak spell and is engulfed in Belak, engulfed in blackness, engulfed in darkness, aka engulfed in ignorance, that would choose or want to maintain and keep hanging on to a bad name. Only people are those that are under the curse of the Belak spell, meaning they are hypnotized by the Belak spell and are under the influence of the Belak spell and are engulfed in Belak, in blackness, darkness, and aka ignorance, that would choose or want to maintain and keep hanging on to a bad name. Now, from my perspective, with the exception of the aforementioned two groups of people, everybody else wants what? or desires a good name. No one wants to be called or known by a bad name while they are alive, or to be remembered for having a bad name even after they are dead. For example, thieves don't want to be called thieves, even though they know that they are thieves. They know in themselves that they are damn thieves. And why? It is because a thief knows that thief is a bad name. Calling a thief could have him or her unalive you on the spot. One of the first things that a thief does or will do when robbing someone, even at gunpoint or at knife point, is to tell them to shut their mouth or to keep quiet. And that is why most people don't call out thief when they are being robbed. But if or when they do call out, they are most likely to call out for what? For help. Not thief as they should. Because instinctively they know that to call a thief is to expose his reputation and damage his false public persona. And the same is true in all other forms of thieves or thievery, rapists, criminals, unalivers, and the practitioners of all forms of immoralities. For example, you may personally, one of you or some of you or all of you, my listeners right now, may personally know someone, or heard of someone, or some people that you know, and know that they are guilty of committing some very heinous acts of violence, or violent crimes and gross immorality. You might have even been a witness to seeing them committing those acts of immorality, those crimes. In fact, you might have even been a victim yourself. But should you call them out in public or tell on them in public, you might end up in prison. You might end up being unalived. You might end up broke, or end up having your own good name or your own good reputation destroyed in public, in the public space. The evidence and the record will show and prove that nobody tried to claim and protect the pretense of having a good name than corrupt, crooked, and immoral people. It could be a politician. It could be a righteous, a religious person. It could be a public figure or even an ordinary citizen with influence. That is the culprit. But to protect their false public persona, they will sue you for speaking the truth. They will take you to court and take away the little that you have. Or they might even pay or have you unalived just to protect their lies, aka to protect their false public persona. Are you aware of the amount of corrupt politicians, corrupt entertainers, religious leaders, social media influencers, and public and private figures, etc., that are presenting themselves to the public and to the world as good people, when they know to themselves and in themselves and others close to them know as well that they are evil and are the personification of evil? In fact, not even Satan the devil wants to be seen, called, or be known by his name. Satan the devil, the bad one, don't want to be known as Satan the devil, the bad one, the deceiver, the evil one, meaning the black one, the prince of darkness, aka the prince of blackness, the god of and the architect of immorality and abomination, etc. No, though it is true, Satan no one want you to know that I want to be known as. To the contrary, Satan wants, desires, and demands to be seen, called, and known as light, and as the angel of light. And I quote from the Adamic Race History and Holy Book again. And I quote, no wonder, for Satan himself masquerades as what? The angel of light. Unquote. 2 Corinthians 11 verse 14. Come to the Adamic Race History and Holy Book. And for your information, the word light is synonymous with the word white. Or if you prefer, light is also another word for white. Also another word for purity, sinless, blameless, righteous, morality, etc. And the opposite of black. It is the opposite of blackness, darkness, and immorality, etc. And that is also one of the deceptions that I've warned you and I am warning you about. And that is, you must be very mindful and diligently watch out for the black Caucasian and others that are masquerading and calling themselves white, when in truth and in all reality, they are the real and true black ones. Satan gets upset, if not real mad, and gets very angry and vengeful when honest, good, and righteous people call him, her, it, Satan, the devil. Right? It could be him, her, or it, Satan, the devil, and refer to him, her, or it as the evil one. The record, coupled with activated common sense, will show and prove that Satan, the devil, along with his, her, or its host of devils, and their hand-picked, mind-picked, brain-picked, and race-picked human administrators, desire is to be God, meaning their desire is to be good and to appear as being good. And that is why he, she, or it, Satan, is claiming and demanding of his subjects, yes, his victims and sheep, to be worshipped and to be revered as what? As God, meaning to be worshipped and to be revered as good and beneficent. The worst insult that you can direct on a woman or a man is to call him or her a bad name, meaning to pronounce on them a bad a term, a word, a title, or a sound vibration, or an affiliation that is black, meaning a word that is bad, derogatory, or disgraceful. Now, knowing these facts, why would any sane and free-thinking human still desire and still want to be black and to call themselves black, along with all its synonyms and euphemisms? This is food for thought. But in the interest of time, this will be the end of this part 25. So please stay tuned. There are much more thought-provoking truths, insights, and perspectives, etc. to come. So please join me in the continuation, or join me for the continuation in part 26. There I will pick up right where I'm leaving off right now. So again, I must say thanks for watching and listening, and also your feedback, your feed forward, your rebuttals, your questions and comments are welcome and encouraged. And if you think or believe that these my presentations are worth sharing, please share it. Let's start a discussion. Discuss it with your friends and your family. However, in the meantime and between time, here's willing that in your becoming, that you be more and more and much more, and definitely not less. Let no one be less. You be less. No, you want more. You want to become. You are becoming. For I am the mystic philosopher. Ashe, 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 I say.